The sun is not yet up, and the room is very dark. A loud sound breaks the silence. It is your alarm clock. You reach out your hand to stop the noise. The air outside your blanket feels cold and sharp. In this moment, your bed feels like the only safe place in the world. You do not want to move. You want to stay here forever. Your body feels heavy, almost like it is made of lead. You think about the tasks waiting for you today. There are emails to write, a house to clean, and a project to finish. These things feel like a mountain that is too high to climb. You lie there and wait. You are waiting for a feeling to arrive. You are waiting for motivation to strike you. Many people believe that motivation is a gift. They think it is something that either happens to you or it does not. If they do not feel it, they do not act. They wait for a spark of fire in their chest before they get out of bed. But this morning, there is no fire. There is only the cold air and the heavy feeling in your legs. But why does this happen? Why is it so hard to start even simple things? Our brains are designed to keep us safe and comfortable. The brain sees the cold room and the hard work as a threat. It wants you to stay under the warm blanket because it is easy. It is not trying to be lazy. It is trying to protect you from being tired. We often make a big mistake. We believe that we need to feel good before we do something hard. We wait for the perfect mood or the perfect weather. We think that motivation is the fuel that starts the engine. In reality, motivation is more like the heat that a running engine produces. You have to start the engine first for the heat to follow. Before we go further, I want to invite you to be part of this journey. If you find these stories helpful, please subscribe and join our community. Wherever you are listening from, whether you are in a quiet room or a busy city, we are glad you are here. Let's learn how to find that energy together and keep moving forward every single day. When motivation is missing, we feel lost. We look at other successful people and think they have a special power. We think they wake up every day with a bright smile and a lot of energy. We assume they never feel the weight of a cold morning or the fear of a long day. But the truth is much simpler and more useful for us. The room remains silent as you look at the ceiling. The minutes are passing by. If you stay here, nothing will change. The mountain will stay high and the tasks will stay unfinished. You realize that motivation is not a guest who visits you. It is a tool that you must learn to build with your own hands, even when you feel very weak. The internal battle is the hardest part of the day. One voice says, stay warm and rest. The other voice says, you have goals to reach. This conflict is normal. Every person you admire has felt this same pull toward comfort. The difference is how they view the start. They do not wait for the sun to come out before they decide to walk. Let's look closer at this struggle. If we cannot wait for a feeling, what can we do instead? We need a strategy that does not depend on how we feel. We need a way to move when our body says no. This brings us to a secret that many high performers use to get things done when they have zero energy to start. There is a common myth that we need a big push to do great things. We think we need a huge wave of energy to start a big project. We believe that if the task is big, the start must also be big. This is why we feel afraid. We look at the giant wall and think we must jump over it in one go. Consider the story of a famous writer. He sat at his desk every day for hours, but he could not write a single word. He was waiting for a brilliant idea. He was waiting for the feeling of inspiration. Because he wanted to write a whole book at once, his mind felt blocked. The task was too big and his motivation was too small. He discovered something very important. He decided to stop trying to write a book. Instead, he promised himself he would only write one single sentence. Just one. This is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Or, if a task is huge, just do the first 2 minutes of it and then stop if you want. This change in thinking is powerful. Action leads to motivation. When the writer wrote one sentence, his brain felt a tiny bit of success. He felt a small spark. Suddenly, writing the second sentence felt easier than the first. He was no longer fighting the heavy weight of the whole book. He was just moving his pen for one more moment. Starting is the only truly hard part of any job. Think of a heavy car. It takes a lot of force to push a car that is standing still. You have to lean into it and use all your strength. But once the wheels start to turn, the car begins to move with much less effort. Our minds work in exactly the same way. Scientists explain this using a simple word: dopamine. You might think dopamine is what you get when you finish a big goal. But actually, dopamine is the brain's happy chemical that is released when you make progress toward a goal. It is the reward for the journey, not just the destination. Even a very small win gives you a little hit of this chemical. When you put on your running shoes, your brain says, "Good job." That tiny bit of dopamine makes you feel slightly better. Now, the idea of walking out the door does not seem so bad. You are not running a marathon yet, you are just standing by the door. By breaking the task into tiny pieces, you are tricking your brain into feeling successful early. Let's compare two people. One person wants to run a marathon and thinks about the 26 miles. They feel tired before they even start. The second person only thinks about putting on their shoes and walking to the end of the street. Who is more likely to actually leave the house? The second person makes the start so easy that they cannot say no. The first step rule is about lowering the bar. If you want to read more books, do not try to read 30 pages. Try to read one paragraph. If you want to clean the whole house, just clean one plate in the sink. The goal is not to finish the work in 2 minutes. The goal is simply to become the person who starts. This is a light bulb moment for many people. We realize that we have been making life harder than it needs to be. We have been waiting for a giant fire, but we only needed a tiny match. Once you light the match, the wood will eventually catch fire. You do not need to be a hero. You just need to be a starter. Momentum builds slowly, but it is very strong. Each small action is like adding a drop of water to a bucket. At first, the bucket looks empty. You might feel like you are doing nothing. But if you keep adding drops, the water level rises. Soon, you have a full bucket. The strength of the water comes from the many drops that came before. Victory is found in the first 60 seconds. If you can survive the first minute of a difficult task, your chances of finishing it go up by a huge amount. Your brain stops fighting you. It accepts that the work is happening. The stress starts to fade away, and a quiet focus takes its place. You are now in the flow of the activity. Your brain loves to be right. When you tell yourself you will do something small, and then you do it, you build trust with yourself. You begin to believe that you are a person who follows through. This self-belief is the real engine of long-term motivation. It is not about the size of the win, it is about the fact that you won. Here is the secret. You can use this for anything in your life. Whether it is a new hobby, a difficult job, or a healthy habit, the rule is the same. Do not look at the top of the mountain. Look at your feet. Take the smallest step possible. But how do we make sure we take that step every day without fail? We must move from talking about steps to talking about the path itself. Even the best starter can get lost if the path is too difficult. We need to look at our surroundings and how we spend our time. This brings us to the next important lesson. It is time to talk about building a system that works even when you are tired. There is a big difference between a person with a goal and a person with a system. A goal is a destination, like reaching the top of a hill. A system is the way you walk every day. If you only focus on the goal, you might feel unhappy until you reach it. But if you focus on the system, you can be successful every single time you follow it. Think about an analogy of building a house. You cannot just wish for a house to appear. You must lay one brick at a time, every day, with care. If you focus only on the finished house, you will feel overwhelmed by the work. But if you focus on laying one perfect brick today, the house will eventually build itself as a result. Many people rely on willpower to get things done. They think if they just try harder, they will succeed. But willpower is like a battery. It starts full in the morning, but as the day goes on, it runs out. Every decision you make, from what to wear to what to eat, uses a little bit of that battery power. By the time evening comes, your willpower battery is often empty. This is why it is so easy to sit on the couch and watch television instead of doing something productive. You are not a bad person, you just have an empty battery. Relying on willpower is a dangerous game because it will always fail you when you are stressed or tired. This is why a routine is so important. A routine takes the power of decision away from the battery. If you always do the same thing at the same time, you do not have to think about it. It becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. You do not need motivation to brush your teeth because it is a system you have built. We call this discipline. Discipline means doing the work even when you are tired. It sounds like a hard word, but it is actually a gift to your future self. Discipline is the system that carries you when your motivation is gone. It is the commitment to the process, regardless of the emotional weather inside your head today. Look at the person with a plan. They know exactly what they will do at 8 o'clock in the morning. They have their clothes ready and their tools on the table. They do not spend energy wondering if they should start. They just follow the map they drew for themselves the night before. Their path is clear and easy to follow. Now, look at the person with just a dream. They wake up and wait for a sign. They hope they will feel like working. They spend an hour thinking about where to begin. By the time they choose a task, their battery is already half empty. They have the heart of a lion, but they have no map to guide them. It is not about the goal. It is about the system. If you want to be healthy, do not focus on the weight. Focus on the daily walk. If you want to be a great worker, do not focus on the promotion. Focus on the hours of deep work. When the system is good, the results will follow naturally. You cannot fail the system. A big part of a good system is understanding friction. Friction is the resistance we feel when we try to do something. If your gym is far away, that is high friction. If your phone is in your hand, that is low friction for a bad habit. To be successful, you must learn to manage these forces in your daily life. The goal is to make good habits easy. If you want to exercise in the morning, put your shoes right next to your bed. This removes the friction of searching for them. You want the path to the good choice to be as smooth as possible. When things are easy to start, you are much more likely to actually do them. On the other hand, you must make bad habits hard. If you spend too much time on social media, put your phone in another room. Create friction between you and the things that pull you away from your work. The more steps you have to take to do something bad, the less likely you are to bother doing it at all. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. We think we are in control, but we often just react to what is around us. If there is junk food on the table, we eat it. If there is a book on the pillow, we read it. Your space should be designed to support the person you want to become. Look at your desk for a moment. Is it covered in mess and distractions? Or is it a place where you feel calm and ready to focus? Spending 10 minutes organizing your space is not a waste of time. It is a way of lowering the friction for your next session of work. A clear space leads to a clear mind. By taking away the friction, you are being kind to yourself. You are making it so that even on your worst day, you can still follow your system. You are building a world where success is the easiest option. This is how you stay consistent for months and years, instead of just for a few days of excitement. Steady progress is always better than high speed. A person who walks 3 miles every day will go much further than a person who runs 10 miles once and then quits. The system keeps you moving at a pace you can maintain. It is the steady beat of a drum that carries the song to the very end. But what happens when the system breaks? What do we do when life gets in the way and we stop moving? No matter how good your plan is, there will be days when everything falls apart. It is important to know how to handle these moments. Let's look at what happens when the fire goes out completely. There will come a day when the alarm goes off and you simply cannot move. Perhaps you are sick, or perhaps you had a very bad day at work. The system you built feels like a burden. The shoes by the bed look heavy, and the desk looks cold. This is the inevitable bad day that everyone faces. Sometimes, everything goes wrong at once. Your car breaks down, your boss is angry, and you feel a dark cloud over your head. In these moments, motivation feels like a lie. You might look at your past progress and feel like it was all for nothing. The energy you had yesterday is gone, replaced by a deep tiredness. In the silence of a bad day, a voice starts to speak in your head. It is a quiet, cold voice. It tells you that you are not good enough. It reminds you of all the times you failed before. It says that you are just pretending to be disciplined and that your true self is lazy. This voice is very convincing. The thought saying I should give up is very natural. It is a way for your brain to stop the pain of trying. If you give up, the pressure goes away. The fear of failing disappears because you have already accepted failure. But this relief is a trick. It feels good for a minute, but it leaves you empty for a lifetime. This is where resilience begins. Resilience is not the absence of fear or tiredness. It is the ability to keep your eyes on the light, even when you are in the dark. It is a muscle that only grows when it is pushed to its limit. You cannot build resilience on a sunny day. You build it during the storm. There is a very important difference between a rest and a quit. A rest is a part of the system. It is a time to heal your body and your mind so you can return stronger. A quit is a decision to stop the journey forever. Knowing when to rest is a sign of wisdom. Quitting because it is hard is a sign of fear. When you miss a day, follow the rule of never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. It happens to everyone. Life is messy. But missing twice is the start of a new habit. If you fall down, do not spend the next day thinking about the fall. Spend the next day getting back on the path immediately. Self-compassion is your best tool during a storm. If a friend was struggling, you would not yell at them or call them lazy. You would offer them a hand and tell them it is okay. Treat yourself with the same kindness. Forgiving yourself for a bad day makes it much easier to start again the next morning. We often think we must be perfect. We think if we do not do the full workout or the full hour of study, it does not count. But perfect is the enemy of finished. This idea of all or nothing is a trap. If you cannot do an hour, do 10 minutes. If you cannot do 10 minutes, do one. Anything is better than nothing. Finished is better than perfect. A messy page of writing is better than a blank one. A 5-minute walk is better than staying on the couch. By doing something, even if it is not your best work, you are keeping the habit alive. You are telling your brain that the system is still standing, even if it is leaning. A keep-going mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who dream. It is the understanding that the road is long and full of holes. You will trip, and you will get wet in the rain. But as long as you keep moving forward, you are winning. Success is mostly just the ability to outlast the difficult days. Be careful to watch for signs of burnout. Burnout is different from just being tired. It is when the joy and purpose of your work disappear completely. If you feel this, you must listen to your body. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is go for a long sleep or walk in the woods without your phone. Recovery is not laziness. It is a necessary part of growth. Think of an athlete. They do not train 24 hours a day. They train hard, and then they recover hard. Their muscles grow while they are sleeping, not while they are lifting weights. Your mind and your motivation need the same cycle of work and rest. During the storm, focus on small progress. Do not look at the big goals during a bad week. Just focus on surviving the day with your habits intact. If you can just do the bare minimum, you have succeeded. You are holding the line. You are refusing to let the storm blow you away from your purpose. Holding the line means maintaining your core values when things are difficult. It means that even if you cannot run the race, you will not turn around and go back. You stay where you are, you breathe, and you wait for the wind to die down. This quiet strength is often more impressive than a big burst of speed. Forgiving yourself is a superpower. When you stop wasting energy on guilt, you have more energy for action. Guilt is a heavy weight that does not help you walk. Put the weight down. Today is a new day, and the past does not own you. You have the power to start fresh at any moment you choose. The quiet strength of persistence is what builds empires. It is not always loud or exciting. Most of the time, it is just a person quietly doing their work while the world is sleeping. It is the commitment to the long game. This brings us to the final part of our journey, finding the flame that never goes out. Let's take a deep breath. We have talked about the cold mornings, the small steps, and the difficult storms. Now it is time to look at the bigger picture. Why do we do all of this? What is the point of the struggle? Let's find the deep purpose that keeps the fire burning even in the coldest winter. Take a moment to look back at your journey. Think about where you started and how much you have learned. It is easy to forget the small victories from last month or last year. But if you look closely, you will see that you are not the same person you were. You have grown, even when you did not feel it. Progress is often invisible while it is happening. It is like watching a tree grow. You cannot see it getting taller if you stand and stare at it for an hour. But if you walk away and come back in a year, the change is obvious. Your growth is happening in the quiet moments of effort, even when you feel stuck. There is a special feeling of pride that comes after a hard month. It is not the loud pride of a trophy. It is the quiet pride of knowing you did not give up. You faced the cold mornings and the storms, and you are still here. This internal respect is worth more than any praise from other people. This journey is about more than just tasks. It is about personal growth. Every time you push through a difficult moment, you are building your character. You are becoming a person of strength and reliability. The skills you learn here will help you in every part of your life, from your relationships to your biggest dreams. Let us recap the 3 main lessons we have learned. The first is to start small. Remember the 2-minute rule. Do not wait for a giant wave of motivation. Just put on your shoes or write 1 sentence. Make it so easy that it is impossible to fail the first step. Small wins lead to big energy. The second lesson is to build a system. Stop relying on your willpower battery. Create a routine that works for you. Design your environment to make good choices easy and bad choices hard. When you focus on the process instead of the goal, you find a steady rhythm that can last a lifetime. Discipline is freedom. The third lesson is to forgive yourself. You will have bad days. You will miss your target sometimes. When this happens, do not be your own enemy. Be your own coach. Follow the rule of never miss twice and get back on the path with kindness. Resilience is the ability to start again after a fall. But why do we do the hard things? We do them because the struggle is where the meaning is found. A life of only comfort is a life that feels empty. We are built to reach, to climb, and to grow. The difficulty of the task is what makes the achievement feel so good when we finally reach it. Your purpose defines the path you walk. When you know why you are doing something, the how becomes much easier. Maybe you want to provide for your family, or maybe you want to see what you are capable of. Whatever your reason, hold it close to your heart. It is the anchor that keeps you steady in the wind. As you follow your system, the flame of motivation becomes steady. It is no longer a wild fire that burns out quickly. It becomes a warm, constant glow. It is the energy that comes from a life of purpose and habit. You no longer need to wait for a spark because you have become the fire itself. Look at the long-term vision of your life. Imagine who you could be in 5 years if you never stopped. Think of the knowledge you will have and the strength you will carry. This vision is not just a dream, it is a preview of your future if you continue to take small steps every single day. I want to give you one final encouragement. You are capable of much more than you think. The feelings of doubt and tiredness are just temporary clouds. Above the clouds, the sun is always shining. You have the tools and the power to reach that sunlight. All you have to do is keep moving your feet. There is a deep strength found in the struggle. Like gold that is purified in a furnace, your spirit is strengthened by the challenges you face. Do not wish for an easy life, wish for the strength to endure a difficult one. Every hard day is an opportunity to prove to yourself what you are made of. You are becoming the person who does not stop. This is the greatest gift you can give yourself. When you can trust yourself to do the work, you lose your fear of the future. You know that no matter what happens, you have the discipline and the heart to find a way through the darkness. As we finish this story, carry these lessons with you. Remember the cold morning and the writer's first sentence. Remember the battery of willpower and the power of a routine. These are not just ideas, they are the maps for your journey. Use them well, and be patient with yourself as you learn to walk. Thank you for spending this time with us. Keep listening, keep growing, and most importantly, keep starting. The mountain is high, but the view from the top is beautiful. We will be here with you every step of the way. Go out today and take that one small step. You are ready for whatever comes next.